Section 13 of the Act provides the very computation method as to degrees of ascent and descent. So it provides to determine the order of succession among agnates and cognates, the degrees of ascent or degrees of descent. The very computation method is to be followed. Degree of ascent or descent shall be computed from the intasks, and the intask is also inclusive of any such computation. In computation of degrees of ascent and descent, every generation constitutes a degree. There will be no preference on the ground of sex either among the agnates or cognates. And regarding Section 14, which provides Hindu women's right to property, so it provided Hindu women's right to property. So under subsection 1 of Section 14 says property possessed by a female Hindu before or after commencement of this act shall be held by her as full honor. Explanation of this subsection says property means both movable and immovable, acquired either by inheritance or by petition or in lieu of maintenance or as arrears of inheritance or by gift before, at, or at the time of marriage or after the marriage, or by purchase or by your own skill. And regarding that, we would like to discuss a leading case, Jagannath Pillai versus Kanjithapalam Pillai in 1987. The Supreme Court expressed that any property possessed before the commencement of this act and also after the commencement of this act will be held as a full owner thereof and not as a limited owner. And in the next important leading case, that is Managmal versus Srimati Puni Devi in 1996, the Supreme Court held that the widowed daughter-in-law received a property through an arbitration in lieu of her right to maintenance for life. Only a residential home, and if remarried in possession of the said widowed daughter-in-law on the day of enforcement of this act, her ownership would be full, not limited. And now we'll go to another leading case, and that is Vijay Paul Singh versus Deputy Director of Consolidation 1996. The Supreme Court held that the limited estate of a widow, if it was in her possession on the day when this act comes in force, would be enlarged into absolute rights. And now we'll go to subsection 2. And subsection 2 provides a female Hindu does not become absolute owner of the property acquired by gift or will or any other instrument, decree, or order of a civil court, and gives are only restricted right in such instrument. And regarding that, we will discuss the leading case Kothi Satyanarayan versus Galasitaya. In 1987, the Supreme Court held that property given for life interest with a condition that it will revert back to the heirs of the giver was held not to be regarded as her absolute estate. And in another leading case, Bhura versus Kasiram in 1994, the Supreme Court held that as the intention of the executor was to confer only a lifetime estate upon the daughter, so in spite of her possession could not be enlarged into an absolute estate. And regarding section 15, we would like to discuss regarding devolution of property of a dying female Hindu. So, in relation to that, the very subsection 1, which provides the very devolution of the right to the sons, daughters, children of predeceased son or daughter, and the husband, and the second in line, the heirs of the husband, and in third preferential line, the mother and the father, and regarding the fourth line of heirs of the father, and the last one, that is the heirs of the mother. And in that connection, we would like to discuss a leading case. So, there itself, under as provided, also regarding the very subsection, it provides that property received from her father or mother shall devolve upon the heirs of the father in absence of son, daughter, and children of predeceased son or daughter. Property inherited from husband or from father-in-law shall devolve upon the heirs of the husband, and in absence of son, daughter, and children of predeceased son or daughter. And in that connection, we would like to discuss a leading case, Lakshman Singh versus Kripa Singh, 1987. The Supreme Court expressed that sons and daughters of the first husband are entitled to succeed to the property inherited by the dying female estate from her second husband. So, these are the very rules under subsection 1 of section 15 regarding devolution of property of a dying female Hindu in order of devolution, and that is falling under five different categories of claimants or persons, such as sons, daughters, children of predeceased son or daughter, and the husband, heirs of the husband, mother and father, heirs of the father, and heirs of the mother. And so also we have discussed the very important leading case, Lakshman Singh versus Kirp Singh, 1987, the very judgment delivered by the Supreme Court. And in our upcoming video, we'll discuss Section 16, which deals with rules on distribution, and that distribution relating to a female Hindu dying intest, and as among the order of succession as mentioned in section 15 of the Act.